Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs, the Zoom version. And I want to thank all our listeners who have really spiked the listenership of the show over the last month during the lockdown, talking about entrepreneurship, how to do business in this economy, more critical than ever before. And Radio Entrepreneurs is committed to continuing to work with entrepreneurs and show them how to be successful or maintain their business in this economy. Our next guest is one of my favorite reporters, Rich Hirschen from the accounting firm, financial services firm of Gray, Gray & Gray. Welcome, Rich.
Jeff, good to be here virtually.
Well, you look as usual, healthy and strong as usual. I hope that's true.
Yeah, thankfully. Yeah, I'm healthy, family's healthy. So on that front, things are going very well.
Good. Let's just keep it up that way. That's the priority. You know, Rich, I would assume, like you, like a lot of my clients, that you're actually working harder than you were a month ago, helping clients just make very quick decisions and transition. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. I mean, if you think about how quickly this all happened, a month ago, life was normal. And now, a month later, things have really come crashing down, and it's impacting businesses, across the entire economy and all industries. And so we've just been talking to our clients, being there, trying to help them get through this, and just being a voice, someone they can bounce ideas off of, really trying to work with them on seeing the impact that the coronavirus is having on their company, and working with them to not only look at the impact thus far, but looking to the future to try to predict what is going to happen over the next couple months so they can be prepared for that.
Well, again, with my clients, and we probably run down the same road with people, the ones who are playing the ostriches and putting their heads in the sand, I'm more worried about than the ones who are sort of aggressively retooling their business and figuring out how to capture what's out there still. And I've also found, and maybe you have also, because I'm going to touch a couple of things, that some of my older clients have been more aggressive because they've been through crises before, where my younger clients that have not lived through a crisis are more emotional about what's been going on. What are you seeing?
A little bit of both. I think people are reacting differently, and it's impacting companies differently. I mean, some businesses are completely shut down, or it's really changed the business. And I think there's some amazing stories out there of what companies have done to pivot, and start doing other things. I was reading a story about a food distributor that distributes food to restaurants, and their business, dried up because the restaurants aren't buying any food. So they pivoted and started selling to homes and doing delivery to home, so they can get their groceries. So there's a lot of stories. We have a fitness studio that has spinning bikes. Obviously that was shut down during all this. And what they did is they would rent out their bikes. People could come and pick them up and take them home and rent them for a month or 2 months or however long this lasts. And they're Zooming live classes. So, they're getting people to watch the classes, which is great publicity. And they're also making some income on the rental of the bike. So companies are being creative in looking at new ways they can deliver their products in the environment in which we're living. And then you have other companies that, it's not that revenues are down a bit, cash flow collections are slower, but it's not, closing the company as of yet. And so, those companies we're working with to really do some cash flow planning and projections and seeing where they're at, so that they can be prepared, so that in a month they might start to be really tight on cash and having a plan on what they're going to do. So different companies need different ideas and different thoughts, and we're working with all of them.
There's a lot of stories out there, and I think you're going to be coming back regularly talking about things, because if this is going to go into July, maybe longer, we are developing a whole new economy and a way of doing business that just didn't exist. It's a real wartime economy. Mm-hmm. And in every war that we've ever had, people have had to learn to do business in a whole totally different way. After 9/11, things changed. Second World War, First World War, the Depression. So this is a new war, never prepared like every other war for what it is, but all of us have to continue to live. And thank God we're living in a world where actually America had, the largest economy in the world. We don't know what it's going to look like afterward, but there is going to still be something, and we got to figure out how to adjust to that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think, businesses always need to evolve and need to be thinking about what they're doing and changing their products and changing their delivery methods and things like that, just as technology changes. I mean, if you think about what we're going through now, luckily it's happening now in the internet age where we have products like Zoom and we have internet. If you think back, if this were happening in the 1980s where none of this existed, I don't know how any of us would be doing any business and staying home. So at least we're lucky that we're doing it in a time where the technology is enabling us to still do business and still do work. But it's definitely interesting, and businesses are going to have to adapt, just like, as technology's changed and things have gone online, companies have had to adapt. And the successful companies are able to do that quickly.
Right. And I understand some industries, restaurants, which small restaurants, small businesses, small construction companies, they're in particular, they're hurting. They've been, they just don't have a lot to do. But a lot of the service companies I know that are providing services, the bigger issue is really around, I'm actually going to change midstream. Some people were telling me 2 weeks ago, I'm letting my people go. And then I said, don't move so fast. And then a week later, they were like, maybe I should be bringing them back because of the new incentives. Are
Yeah.
you seeing that as well?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of great incentives out there. I think, the one that's been getting a lot of publicity and a lot of attention in the last week or so has been these payroll protection or paycheck protection program loans, which is the Small Business Administration funding companies with the idea that that money would be used to pay employees. And there's some nuances to the formula, but generally speaking, if you're taking that money and using it to pay employees, a lot of that loan can be forgiven, if not all of it. So it's a pretty powerful program, and it's really getting money to the smaller businesses, to Main Street rather than Wall Street. And so it's been a hectic week. It was just signed into law less than a week ago. The applications can start being submitted tomorrow. So we've been working with a lot of companies to figure out if they qualify, how much they qualify for, trying to project what they could potentially see as the amount forgiven so that, again, they can do some cash flow planning. A lot of what we've been doing is just working with clients to do some cash flow projections, because there's two sides to this. Obviously, many businesses are seeing a reduction in revenue, but also many businesses are seeing slower payments because people can't get to offices. It just is harder to write checks. It's harder to get invoices. All that is just slowing things down. So there's a real concern that even if you're one of those fortunate companies where your revenues are staying pretty strong, that it's going to take a long time to collect the money.
I think this payroll protection thing is really quite brilliant. I don't know if it originated in this country. I know it's the first time here, but keeping people off of unemployment and keeping them working, I think, is brilliant. And I think and it has a ripple effect through the whole economy, through the stock market. And I really think it's a very smart component of the whole thing. But you're right. I hear a lot about cash flow. People say to me, I'm still doing work. I don't know if I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
Just this morning, I heard that some companies switched over from getting clients to pay by check to PayPal as a way of getting their money quickly and making sure that they're still getting paid when people are using, I can't get to my office to cut checks excuse.
Right. And I think there's, a lot of things we're telling companies to do. One, if you are still printing invoices and mailing them, we're saying you've got to start emailing them, because you might mail them to a company and no one's there. Or maybe they're checking mail once a week. But either way, it's going to delay the process. So really encouraging people to be invoicing electronically on the invoices, giving instructions on how to pay either through, electronic fund transfers or drafts, paying by credit card, if that's something you can do, PayPal, using all of those ideas in the economy, where it is, but anything but checks, because checks, someone's got to write it out. That's going to add more time. Then they have to mail it. Then once the mail comes, someone has to be in your office to get it and deposit it. It just adds a lot of time to the process. So as much of that can be done electronically, I feel is going to make for faster collections.
And mail has slowed down. I know somebody
Yeah.
who mailed something from Maine 10 days ago. It still hasn't arrived.
Yeah, everything slowed down. I mean, understandably so. So all need to adapt and think about the technologies that we have and other ways, to be doing this. And also just following up with people to make sure they receive the invoice, if it was mailed or even emailed, see when they can pay it. So at least if it's not as fast as you'd like, at least you can plan for it and start modeling out when you're going to need it. So, if you need to draw on the line of credit, if you're going to have to invest some money in the business, at least we can see it coming and plan for it.
Well, even before we go, even you can change your whole, if companies have at bank lines, they can change the structure of their bank lines right now, which
That's
is
right.
extremely helpful. Do you want to talk a little bit about that before we go?
Yeah, I think, good communication with your banker. A lot of the banks, they understand what's going on, and they're being very generous in adjusting payment terms and expanding lines of credit, of increasing borrowing bases. And they're doing a lot of things. They're really trying to help the companies. I mean, it's in their best interest as well, but they're there to work with you. So if you're working with a good banker, call them up, talk about your concerns with your banker and see what they can do to help. Because everyone seems to be pitching in. The government's offered some really good programs. The bankers are pitching in. As accountants, we're trying to help. And so everyone's trying to help everyone get through this.
Well, I know that it's a fact that 2 days ago, a client of mine called me and I told them to give you a call. They were asking me about some financial situation. I told him to give you a call. Hopefully he called.
I talked to him yesterday. Thank you for that.
Good. There are people still, the real entrepreneurs are still trying to figure out what to do, and they're still working. And if they are, and they want to talk to you, because you're going to be here for the long haul, I know that.
Yep.
You're the youngest member of the Radio Entrepreneurs Reporters team.
There's one that's younger that I know of.
Maybe, really?
Yeah, she works with me.
Oh, really? Well, she has my best wishes too. And if somebody is looking for you at Gray, Gray & Gray, maybe some advice, I'm sure you'd be receptive to them. How would they find you?
So you can call my office. That'll ring through to my house. The number there is 781-493-3271. You can always email me at rhirschen, that's RHIRSCHEN, at ggcpas.com, and then our website at ggcpas.com. Well, we've got a lot of great resources on our website. We've got a whole webpage dedicated to coronavirus. We've got our own, we've done several webinars, recordings of those webinars are out there. Some white papers that we've provided are out there, along with links to a lot of other, the SBA and other programs that are out there. So there's a great deal of information on our website.
Well, there's the first line defense in this new war, and that's the doctors and the nurses and all our public service. But in terms of entrepreneurship, you are a critical, essential element to that. And so we're going to be dinging you all the time, having you check in, tell us what's going on, what are the trends, what do we need to do. You're going to have to be more real time for our entrepreneurs, and we really appreciate that.
Happy to do it.
Great. So remember, the most important thing, Rich, stay healthy.
Yes.
I look forward to being in studio with you again one day and having you pick on me.
I look forward to that too.
So, and remind everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs, a trusted source in stories on entrepreneurship in this changing world. My name is Jeffrey Davis. Thank you very much for tuning in. More stories to follow.